Right now, somewhere in your house, there's a flame you're not even thinking about. The pilot light in your water heater, the burner on your stove, maybe a candle sitting on a shelf that hasn't been lit in months. You've built your entire life around controlled fire without ever really clocking that it's there. Now strip it away. Not just your stove, all of it. Every controlled flame, gone. Starting a million years ago. Fire isn't just something humans figured out along the way, like a neat little hack. It's older than language. Older than clothing. It might be the one thing that made everything else about us possible. So here's the actual question. If our ancestors never tamed it, are we even here having this conversation? Quick side thing before we go back. Drop a guess in the comments right now. How long do you think it took early humans to go from, ooh, fire to actually keeping one alive on purpose? A year? 100,000 years? Longer. Keep that number in your head because the real answer is coming. And it's probably not what you're picturing. Okay, back to the beginning. About 1.7 million years ago, our ancestors were living the way basically every other animal on the savannah lived. Cold at night, raw food, running from anything with teeth bigger than theirs. Then something shifted. A species called Homo erectus started doing something no other animal had done. Not just using fire when lightning happened to leave some behind, but keeping it, feeding it, carrying it. Some researchers, including Harvard archaeologist Richard Wrangham, think this one shift didn't just change what humans ate. It changed what humans are, structurally, at the level of the brain. Because no fire means no cooking. And no cooking is a bigger problem than it sounds. Raw food is expensive to digest. Like, expensive in a real biological sense. Chimps, our closest living relatives, spend up to 6 hours a day just chewing. 6 hours. That's most of an entire waking day spent grinding through raw plants and meat for a fraction of the calories they need. Cooking breaks all that open. Heat predigests the fibers and proteins before they ever hit your stomach, so your body suddenly gets way more energy for way less work. Wrangham's argument is basically, cooking is what paid for the brain. Think about that for a second. No fire, no cooking. No cooking, no spare calories. No spare calories, no fuel for an organ that eats up about 20% of your body's energy today. A brain 3 times the size of a chimp's. So round 1 of our alternate timeline, without fire, human brains might never have hit the size they did. We could still be walking around with something closer to a Homo erectus skull. Sharp enough for basic tools, nowhere near sharp enough for a civilization. But say brain growth happened anyway. Just slower. Fine. There's still a second wall waiting. Nighttime. For almost every animal alive, dark is when the predators clock in. Lions, hyenas, whatever saber-toothed thing was prowling around back then, all of it more active after sunset. No fire, no protection, and early humans are stuck doing what every other prey species does. Find a defensible corner, go quiet, hope nothing finds you before morning. Fire flips that whole equation. A flame at the mouth of a cave isn't just heat. It's a wall predators instinctively won't cross. For the first time, a group of humans could actually sit out in the open after dark without spending the whole night listening for footsteps. And here's what makes this the important part. Not just the interesting part, that safety bought something predators never gave early humans a chance to have. Downtime. Anthropologist Polly Wiesner studied modern hunter-gatherers, the Jew/Hwanzi of the Kalahari, and found something almost too clean to be true. Daytime conversation is mostly logistics. Complaints, gossip, who did what, who owes who. But at night, around a fire, the whole tone shifts. Stories, myths, explanations for why the world works the way it does. No fire, no firelight, no firelight. Maybe no myth-making, no oral tradition, no shared belief system getting passed down generation after generation around a shared flame. So without those nights, we're not just less safe. We're less connected. Now here's the pivot. The moment this stops being a cool story and starts being the whole story. Around 3,400 BCE, humans in Mesopotamia figured out how to push fire hot enough to melt rock. Wait, that process, smelting, is the doorway to copper, then bronze, then iron. The entire Bronze Age. The entire Iron Age. Every plow, sword, nail, and gear that came after. All of it rests on one requirement. Fire controlled and hot enough to physically change metal. No fire, no smelting. No smelting, no metal tools. No metal tools, no large-scale agriculture, no big construction, no wheels with actual axles. We don't just lose comfort without fire. We lose the whole staircase from stone tools to steel. And it keeps going. Pottery, one of the earliest ways humans stored food and water long-term, needs kilns. Kilns need fire hot enough to harden clay. No fire, no pottery, no reliable way to store a surplus. And a species that can't store surplus can't feed people who aren't out hunting or gathering that day. No surplus means no early priests, no early rulers, no early scribes, no room for anyone whose entire job isn't find the next meal. So here's the full domino chain. No fire, Slower brain growth. Slower brain growth, less room for complex thought. No nighttime safety, constant vulnerability, way less time for the stories that build culture. No smelting, no metal age. Stuck with stone and bone. No pottery, no surplus, no cities. Every layer of modern civilization is stacked on top of the first one. A spark, kept alive on purpose. Which brings us back to you. Flipping a switch on your stove without a second thought. That tiny motion is the tail end of a chain going back 1.7 million years. Through cave fires and Bronze Age forges and clay kilns, to one moment when some early human decided a flame was worth protecting instead of running from. We didn't just discover fire. Fire might be what let us become the kind of species that could discover anything else at all. So, go back to that number you guessed earlier. Most researchers think it took hundreds of thousands of years between humans using opportunistic fire and actually controlling it reliably. If your guess was way off, you're in good company. Most people guess low. Drop your original guess in the comments and see how close you actually were. And the next time you light a candle or sit near a campfire, you're not just watching light and heat. You're watching the oldest piece of tech humans ever held on to. If you want to see where the rest of these human habits came from, stick around. There's a lot more buried in our past than most people realize.